Thank you very much indeed, Tony, and you've captured everything perfectly there. I'd like to invite Lara, maybe if she wouldn't mind, and she might introduce to us our first speaker this evening. Thank you, Lara.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So I'm introducing our first speaker, Aidan Ring. Aidan Ring is the Communities Outreach Officer at Fairtrade Ireland. He works on various community-based Fairtrade supporter projects across Ireland, including Fairtrade communities, Fairtrade colleges, Fairtrade schools, and Fairtrade Fortnight, among others. Aidan has also worked for the Ecotherapy Ireland Network, Friends of the Earth, and Eco UNESCO. Fairtrade Ireland works to promote fair trading practices between Ireland and developing countries. It's a founder member of Fairtrade International, based in Germany, the organisation responsible for setting international fair trade standards. So a warm welcome to Aidan, who'll be speaking to us about fair trade actions to make a difference.
Cheers, Lara. Great stuff. Thanks, Brian. And thank you very much to the AEFGJN Ireland for having me. I'm going to share my screen. Where are we at now? All seeing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, terrific. So, yeah, that is obviously that's me there, and this is the topic of who pays for Christmas. It's yeah, it's a really interesting one actually that you mentioned there, Tony, just the kind of the questions around what we, you know, ethical consumption, and a question that I'm often asking myself as an environmental activist is like, do I even need to buy this thing at all? You know, and that's kind of just one way I'd like to frame, you know, everything. Obviously, we do need to buy certain things, and we are going to buy a lot of things, but it's just, you know, I suppose the kind of that would be the first kind of pillar of ethical consumption is kind of, you know, just not buying stuff you don't need, sort of thing. But anyway, I mean, in terms of my organization, we're kind of going on the basis that people are buying things for definite. And so if this is a room full of people, this is the point at which I would ask you to, a lot of people to yell out random words that come to mind when they look at these images of Christmas, but obviously that's not a good idea. So yeah, I'll just say some stuff about these images. So maybe you might think of Christmas as a time of coziness on the left, giving, shopping and consumption, you know, or it can also be a time of great suffering and sadness and division. So, you know, in terms of what fair trade does, I'll be beginning on a local level, but establishing links between how fair trade relates to the entire supply chain across the globe. But I would like to submit to you that it could be the season of fairness and justice. And I think this is something that resonates very strongly with us in Ireland, with Irish people. You know, we even have a lot of expressions like, you know, in fairness and to be fair and stuff. Like, we do really care about it. One of the highest donors per capita in the world is the Irish public. So yeah, we're all about fairness and giving. And so yeah, the points there are that Christmas is a time when often class divisions and wealth gaps are most strongly felt here and across the globe. And in Western countries, there's actually a massive spike in consumption at Christmas. That, you know, if that was distributed evenly throughout the year, we would actually probably, you know, just even in terms of storage of stuff, just of goods and materials, we would need less. We wouldn't even need to build storage units as big, you know, which is kind of like a stark reminder of just that space matters. But anyway, that's us there on our kind of in our supporter gathering, which is last Friday there in Limerick. It's me with the Deputy Mayor of Limerick and our Limerick Fairtrade community representatives. And that was lovely. We launched a few things there, including the Tony's Chocolate Only campaign, but I'll get to that later. But so this is kind of the idea that underpins a lot of what Fairtrade does is that, I mean, like, we really shouldn't even need to name the fact that it's fair. You know, trade should just be fair, but it isn't, you know, so we have to accept that and kind of work within those parameters. But this is just our ethical Christmas gifts for 2022 blog from last year. Mel, our comms person, is working on another one for this year. But what I always say is that it's like, just buying a fair trade product is the simplest and one of the most effective forms of activism you can do for ethics and for sustainability, because we're buying our groceries anyway. So why not just buy the fair trade version? A little bit of how it works. I'm just gonna interrupt myself for a second to say, Brian or Lara, just let me know if if I'm coming up to the end, 2 minutes left type thing, because I haven't timed this. But so the way fair trade works is that for the producers in the global south, it guarantees a minimum price. That's a living wage. So it's defined as a living wage. So recently, for instance, our coffee price per pound went up to I think it's at $2.20, $2.20 now. But no, sorry, it went up from 140 to 180. Sorry, as it is now. And so yeah, this is like that's independent of market fluctuations. So even if the market price dips below, we still pay the higher price, because we want people to have a living wage. Then on top of that, there's a guaranteed premium, which is an extra amount that goes directly to communities and co-ops. They're called co-ops in the global south. That and that money is to be spent in ways that the community decides. So it's all about empowerment. It's not just charity. It's all about empowerment. And the fact that it's 50% producer owned speaks to that as well. And then if you bring that back to Ireland, this is our kind of our map of stakeholder map. So we have the kind of licensees are the likes of your Lidls and Aldi's, and Bewley's being of course the kind of the flagship company, retailers, chains. Then we work, of course, with communities, schools, media, etc., etc. So it's a big network. Go a bit into communities now. That's me, and the man in the middle there holding the Fairtrade poster is our visiting producer who visited us from Uganda last Fairtrade fortnight, which is in March of this year. So we do bring farmers over from the global south to get the message from the horse's mouth, so to speak, because that's very powerful, and do community events. So Fairtrade Fortnight is basically 2 weeks of community events. And I'll highlight that there is a strong religious component to a lot of these communities. So yeah, this is a bit more about Fairtrade Fortnight. And like I say, 2 weeks worth of events. We have clusters of communities, and the whole idea is to get them having their own events. So for instance, that image on the left there is a giant piece of sand art that was in, I believe, Bantry Fairtrade in a previous Fairtrade fortnight, which is really cool. So those kinds of things that generate publicity are what we want. This is our latest campaign, which is with Tony's Chocolonely, Dutch company that's all about slavery-free chocolate, basically, is the whole message. And so yeah, extremely ethical company. And our whole idea with this campaign is to get communities to lobby their local shops to stock Tony's Chocolonely chocolate. So yeah, it's kind of like it's empowering communities to promote a product that is in turn empowering farmers in the global south. So again, it's all about empowerment and activation. We also work with universities. A couple of university visits I did there last Fairtrade fortnight. So we have 4 or 5 of them around Ireland that are very engaged. So yeah, that's another kind of very strong engaged cohort. And this is a bit about our Fairtrade Ambassador program, which is something that I'm running. So we've done 2 festivals this summer just gone, which is pretty cool. I won't go into it too much, but essentially it was like an ethical or a sustainable sustainability survey of the traders at these festivals. So Electric Picnic and Body and Soul, and then we give an award to the winning trader. But we also had this massive Fairtrade Roses campaign, which is another thing that we'd like to kind of push for Christmas, because of course it's a time of lots of flowers and gifts and giving.